I turned my phone back on and I said, look, is there any way I can change the number?
On your own?
On my own. Because I figured if I was going to change, I had to change everything.
Welcome everyone, and this is Me to We Productions, where we share with you the recovery stories of others so that you may create your own. Now these are everyday heroes that come out and share with you the things that they've been through and how they have actually created a life out of very unlikely circumstances. And today here I got one of those kind of people with me today. This is Nathan Shaffer from Greensburg, Indiana. Nathan, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great.
Good deal. Thanks for coming today. I appreciate it. I think one of the first things I want to ask you is what made you want to be here tonight?
I just want people to realize, people can change. And I know that I just want my story to get out there to show them, if I can do it, a lot of people can do it. I mean, my background's goes back many years of me using it and stuff, so I know if I can do it, there's a lot of people out there, if they hear my story, it's going to touch them, and I think that'll help somebody else. So.
All right. Well, I know we had a chance to talk before we went live here, and you're 46 years old.
Yes.
You have 14 months in of continuous sobriety. And I don't know if you know this or not, but at 46 years old, for you to have any kind of sobriety is almost a miracle. Like, it is a miracle. Most people after the age of 35 have a really hard time recovering, so kudos to you. So let's get into this. What was it like growing up being Nathan Shaffer?
Growing up, I grew up in a foster home till I was 6.
So you were 6 years old, you was in a foster home?
Yeah, from the time I was about a year and a half till I was 6.
What was it like?
Well, that was the parents I knew, when growing up at 6 years old, that was my mom and dad, And I couldn't ask for better parents, really.
So they were good to you?
Yeah. I mean, and back then, CPS, they'd only let your parents come once a month to see you. So I got to see my real mom once a month.
So you did know who she was?
But she'd leave, and then for 4 weeks I went to see her, so I really didn't know her.
Right.
Because she'd only get to stay for a half hour. So when I was 6, they told me that my mom was getting me back. I hid behind a couch. I didn't want to go.
So what made you not want to go? Just the fact that you didn't know her?
I didn't really know her, And
okay.
That was my mom and dad. Why you take me away from... I mean, I've been there since I was a year and a half.
Okay.
So, about the time mommy, daddy, when you start speaking, so that was the only mom and dad I knew. Mm-hmm. And so I go, finally, they get me out from behind the couch, and I go home and with my mom, and my mom loved me, but I held a grudge against my mom and my sisters because for many years.
Even at that young of an
age?
Yeah,
because I couldn't understand, well, why did my sisters get to go stay with my grandma and grandpa?
Oh, okay. So you went to a foster home.
Yeah.
But your sisters
was at my grandma and
went
grandpa.
to your grandma and grandpa's, who was part of your family.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
It made me feel unwanted. I mean, it made me feel like nobody wanted me. So, as I was growing up and I was at my mom's house, she was married to this guy. He ended up adopting me when I was 8.
Did that help you at all in feeling wanted, or?
Not really, because like his kids lived out his biological kids lived out in Texas, but they'd come up here for the summer, and I would get pushed to the side again.
Okay.
Anything that happened at the house while he was gone to work, it was always my fault. He would beat me. They would the cops got called on them for throwing rocks, and I get the ass beaten when he gets home.
Right.
And so it made me feel like, why, So about 9 or 10, my mom finally explained to me who my real dad was.
And how is he?
He wasn't a dad. I mean, I tried to go see him, and I get told by him, "Hey, you're not allowed in my house." And I ask why, and he tells me because his wife says I'm not her kid.
So how that so?
So that made me even feel more unwanted again.
Right, that's what I was wondering. So he has a wife
Yeah.
that just says.
And I got 3 sisters on his side, you know.
Oh, wow.
But because I'm not her kid, I'm not allowed at their house. So it made me feel unwanted again. Well, at age 10, my mom finally started letting me go over to my uncle's house, which was my dad's real dad, my biological dad's brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, I realized, hey man, he's got a lot of friends. How you
This is
doing?
the brother, right?
Yeah, it's my
Dad's
real
brother.
my real dad's brother. I said, man, he's got a lot of friends that come and go, and I didn't realize at the time why they was there. And so one day I asked him, I said, Uncle John, I said, you got a lot of people coming around here. You must be a wanted person. He said, oh.
This is good.
And so I said, well, why? He said, man, he said, come in the living room, let's sit down and talk. Well, he rolled up a joint.
Mm-hmm.
He
Is
said,
this
man,
the first time you've seen this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said, what is that? He said, just hit it, man. You'll feel good. So I hit this joint. Man,
At 10 years old.
I think, man, this does feel good, you know. He said, man, I can give you a little bit and get rid of it. He said, you'll have friends everywhere. I was thinking, man, really? So I took a little bit, you know, and I went to school and said, man, look what I got, you know. So it made me feel, people start coming to me. Like, people I didn't even know. I'm thinking, man, this makes me feel good. Now somebody needs me. At the age 10.
So I'm starting to really put this together here. I'm seeing this. So,
But that's when my addiction started too, you know. Because I started smoking, because I'd smoke probably a half bag a day. Because it made me feel good.
But I feel like your void,
Yeah.
like the void in you was this unwanted thing.
Yeah.
And I see how, you know, so you go, especially with your dad. Like,
Yeah.
I think, so I've done a few of these interviews now, and something that's very common is our fathers.
Yeah.
And something's off. And me personally, I feel like what your dad did there was off.
Well, then, you know, then about the age 11 and a half, 12, the guy that adopted me, though, you know, it was supposed to be my dad now. Him and my mom split up, get a divorce. My mom gets with this other guy. She takes off and goes to Tennessee. Leaves me on the streets.
On the streets?
She said I could go with her, but at the age 14, I done had a kid on the way.
I already had a kid. On the way.
On the way. My philosophy is, you know, I'm in love. I'm going to be with this girl forever. I got with her when I was 13. She was 16. She had a car. I thought I had it going on. She ended up getting pregnant when I was 14. I was thinking, man, I don't want to go. So my sister lived here. My mom said, well, you can stay with your sister. I said, okay. Well, 2 months after that, my sister goes to Tennessee. So I'm left on the street. So I go to my dad's brother. Said, hey, can I stay with you? So I stayed with him, but it made me feel unwanted again because my mom just picks up and said, more or less, chose a guy over me, I felt. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think, this is interesting, so do you think with this story and what's going on with you, so by the age of 14, you already got a kid on the way, you've already smoked weed, you're really
At the age 14, I was done into pills by then.
All right, so do you feel like you were born this way, or do you think you were like born into addiction?
My mom was she's a recovering alcoholic of 47 years. But I'd never seen my mom drink, you know, because the time she got me back, that was part of her getting me back. She wasn't allowed to drink. So I'd never seen my mom drink, but she's probably got about 40 years in now, clean. But she was an alcoholic. My dad's side, the whole side of the family were alcoholics and drug addicts. I believe that because I seen them doing it, I thought it was okay. My addiction, it was my choice,
Okay.
you know. But I seen them doing it, so I thought it always like, well, my uncles are doing it. Why can't I?
Right.
You know,
Especially
so
at such a young age.
you know, and I looked up to them because my dad didn't have nothing to do with me. So I looked up to my dad's brothers, like they were my dad, you know, because they would have something to do with me, but it was all for the wrong reasons, really.
Mm-hmm.
The one was, and so as I was growing up, I got to age 14. I have a kid on the way. By the time I turned 15, my daughter was born 4 or 5 months after I turned 15. Me and that girl ended up splitting up till my daughter was about three. She heard I was with one of her friends, so she comes back, and in my eyes, that was still the love of my life.
Mm-hmm.
First night we were back together, bam, she ends up pregnant with my boy.
So,
But
kid
in between,
number 2 on the way?
Kid number 3, because in between Tara and Cody, which are my two kids I got with her, we split up. So I got with this other girl. She gets pregnant. We was together probably for about a year. She ends up getting pregnant. This is when, because I got thrown back into foster home when I was 15.
Okay.
Because I ended up getting sick and I tried to go to the hospital and tried to say that my mom was out of town and my uncle was okay to have me, and that didn't work.
Right.
And so,
Just so got that by the age of 15, you had
at the age of 15 I have one.
Uh-huh.
By the time I'm 18 years old, I got 3 kids.
Wow.
Well, one on the way and two.
Okay. Did that have any effect on you? Any kind of
Well,
impact?
it did. Because I thought at the age of 15, I'm thinking, man, how am I going to raise a kid? And my girlfriend, the baby's mama, her dad tells me, you'll get a job or you'll work for me. And I'm thinking, man, I can't let him know I'm selling pills and weed, how I'm getting money. So I'm going to go get me a job.
So you've already been selling drugs
Yeah.
for a while?
Oh, since I was 10 years old.
Since you was 10. So you picked up on that quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it just, when I was 14, I ended up getting into pills. And it was easy for me to say, hey, you know, I got some pain pills. Let's do a little trading. Time I hit 20, 21, I got into cocaine.
What was that like?
Oh, I loved it. It was a drug that I would have probably sold anything. I'd have sold my mom, sold my kids. But
So
I
you really liked it.
Yeah, but I realized it real quick. You know, about 6 months into it, I said, man, I can't be doing this.
Why do you think it was the cocaine you were able to cut out, but like the pills and the weed and the drinking you couldn't?
I think because when I got thinking that I could sell my kids, I couldn't sell my kids, you know?
So that's a real thought.
Yeah, that was a real thought.
Okay.
And I said, man, I just can't do it, you know? But about 3 weeks after I didn't go buy no coke, you know, and I'm thinking, man, I gotta get high on something. This weed and these pills ain't working.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like that fast go. And I didn't want to be sitting on the couch and lumped
Did you know
over.
you was an addict by this point?
At this point, I knew I was an addict and an alcoholic.
You did know it. Okay.
I mean, I was drinking every day at the age of 15. I was drinking every day all the way up till I was 36. I knew that I was an alcoholic and an addict.
Okay.
But in my mind, I always found a reason why I was doing it.
You always had a justification.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, well, I ain't drinking as much today. It was okay. Or, well, I'm not using coke no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I always chose another drug
To take its spot.
So
substitution.
So at the age 20, 21, I had some buddies that was cooking meth. Man, I want to try that, you know. My philosophy is, because I always seen them, they'd be up for 2 or 3 days. Well, coke, I'd have to more or less chase it.
Do it. Yeah.
Every hour, I'm thinking, man, my buzz is going away. I got to have more. I'm seeing these guys, man, they hardly ever do any. I see them do it, and they're up for hours. I'm thinking, how you guys do that? So about 3 weeks after using coke, I decided I was going to try meth. It was a drug that took a very hold of me.
Pretty quick.
Pretty quick. I mean, I love the smell when he's cooking it. I love the taste of it. And then I decided.
Did you know he was in trouble?
I knew I was in trouble because I liked it. I loved it. I loved that fast life. I loved the just being able to say, hey, look what I got. And at that point, it's still, made me feel more wanted.
I was getting ready to go there.
It made me feel even more wanted
Yes.
because I seen people coming out of the woodwork, thinking, man, where was you guys at 10 years ago when I needed a friend?
So now you have lots of people.
Yeah.
And you got this. That's the most control and power.
It was very. So during this time, I got remarried at the age 21, 22. Had 3 more kids with her. We was married for about 5 years. And during that time, I drank a lot. I kept my dope to the side that she didn't even know I was using.
So you're hiding that
from
you're
her.
Still drinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd sell behind her back. She didn't know nothing about it. We split up, and I go hog wild. I meet this girl probably a year later. Me and her get married. Still the same thing. I drank. She knew I drank. I go to the bars. I close the bars down. That's where I sold my dope.
Okay, at the bars.
Yeah, she won't know. I'd keep it in my truck, I'd keep it hid from them.
So she just thought you were going to the bar, but you're actually going there to drink
and get money.
And get money and sell meth.
Yeah, because she had 4 kids. I had 3 kids I had to support. And I had child support coming out of my check. I worked full-time at GCOM. My checks were $87 and she didn't work. Thinking, man, how am I going to help her raise these 4 kids that are not mine?
Plus your own.
Plus, they just take child support on my own, but I was getting them on the weekends. How am I going to get groceries? I got this, And she won't even know where the money's coming from. I'll tell her, I traded this, traded that, got this, sold this. And that worked for 9 years, I was married to that girl for 9 years.
And for 9 years, you were able to maintain that lifestyle?
Yeah. And about 3 years into that marriage, I ended up having to go to the hospital one night from work. And we'd been back to work for probably 3 days after the New Year. Well, on New Year's Eve, I'd done some dope, which she knew I'd done. We was all at a party. I talked her into trying it. She didn't like it. But I'd done it. So 3 days later, I go back to work. I worked 3rd shift, and I felt like I was going to pass out. And I had GTO time, and I kept asking the supervisor, can I go home? Can I take 4 hours, go home? He said, Nathan, I can't let you go home. There's too many people off. Everybody took their vacation. They got it back. I said, man, I'm going to pass out. So I go back to the line, take 4 aspirin, go to lunch, and I come back from lunch, and I looked at my team leader. I said, look, somebody better go check my blood pressure because I'm telling you, I'm going to pass out. My blood pressure was 146 over 140. Well, when both your numbers meet, you die.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they rushed me to the hospital. They called my wife, tell her I'm at the hospital. She calls my mom and my sisters. Well, when my sister gets there, they're asking, before they start giving me some medicine, they're asking my wife, hey, has he done any drugs or anything like that? And my sister tells her, Angie, you got to tell him. You got to tell him the truth. Well, I'm out. Like, I don't even know anything's going on. They said, we have to know because the medicine we're getting ready to give him could kill him if you don't tell us. So she finally tells him, what I'd done. She thought I was going to be mad at her.
She didn't have a choice.
No, she didn't have a choice. They rushed me to Indianapolis. They do a CAT scan on me. They do a catheter. CAT scan, went up my leg. Well, they find out I got this Brugada syndrome. They say it's an inherited disease. But if I hadn't done dope, they would have never found it. Because what it is, my electrical part of my heart don't work. So me doing dope, it sped my heart up, and that's how they can test it.
Okay.
So at the age 30, now I'm disabled.
You're disabled. You have all these kids.
I'm off of work for about 3 months. I go back to work, but the doctor says, hey, you can't stand up for 8 hours no more, because I had 15 strokes, mini strokes. So my left side stays numb a lot. He said, man, you can't work, you can go back to work, but you're going to have to do a sit-down job. So they let me come back and have me doing this sit-down job for about a month. They finally come to me and tell me they got to let me go, that they're doing away with that job. So here goes an 8-year job, thinking, what am I going to do? Apply for disability, I get denied. Apply again, I get denied. That was in May, so the second one got denied. It was about the end of June, so I called a lawyer. They finally get me in court in September, which worked fast because my mom fought it for 2 years. And it went to court, they give it to me, but during this time, I'm thinking, man, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? The only thing I know to do is live the life I've been living,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm selling drugs, I'm telling her, hey, I'm doing some side work for this guy. But honestly, I was just selling drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Still, this time I was still using, knowing my heart was bad, and
was there any part of you at this point in time that wanted to surrender? Like, was you still going full throttle?
I was kind of taking it easier. After my heart condition, I kind of slowed down. I still wanted to do the dope. I couldn't walk away from it.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't so much about doing the dope; it was the lifestyle that was hard for me to walk away.
Mm-hmm. I hear that a lot. What is it about the lifestyle?
It was just, if somebody had something and I wanted it, it was easy for me to get because I had the dope.
Mm-hmm.
It was just living that lifestyle and living that fast life. It was like, like driving to Indy and getting 4 ounces of dope. Ha, motherfucker, you didn't catch me this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd done that since I was 10 years old. That was my mindset. You guys ain't caught me. You ain't gonna catch me.
That's fine. Yeah, if you're at 10 years old, you've been doing this, now you're 30, and you're still getting away with it. Even though you might know on the inside it's not sustainable, it looks like it, and you're going to go for it. So,
but see, I always maintained a job during that,
you're almost like a functioning addict.
Yeah, but I kept that job, so people would think, hey, that's why.
You kept that job as a mask.
Yeah.
Yes. It was to look good.
Yeah.
So you could actually do this over here.
Nobody, right? Well, he's got money, he's got a job.
When did you first start actually getting some consequences from this lifestyle?
In 2014, I got busted for dealing meth.
Where at?
In Greensburg.
Decatur County?
Yeah. I was looking at 52 years.
On your first time?
On my first time, I was looking at 52 years. They hit me with an A felony. For dealing. I was too close to a school. Well, I was too close to what they considered this lady babysitted, so I was too close to that house. The guy I delivered to lived in an apartment complex, so they hit me with delivering too close to a family residence. They considered that lady's house like a school because she babysitted, like a daycare. They hit me with that, so I was looking at an A felony, plus 2 years on a possession charge of pot on top of dealing meth and possession of meth. I was looking at 52 years, and I kept telling my lawyer, man, I can't do that, man.
How old were you when this happened?
2014. This is
not that long ago.
40 years old.
40. So 40 years old was the first time you had any real consequences. I
was arrested for driving while suspended. I was arrested for PI, but I was never arrested.
Serious.
Yeah, this was serious. And
so did you go to prison?
Yeah, I sat in the county jail for a year, and during that year, we had the chief of police that stole money out of the evidence room for gambling and stuff. Well, after being in jail for a year, because my bond was like $40,000 cash, It wasn't 10%, $4,000 you get out. It was $40,000, and they wasn't coming off of it. So I'm thinking, I'm sitting here till I go to court and everything. But there was 12 of us that was incarcerated, 4 people that was out on house arrest. They had to OR us because she'd went in that evidence room. They don't know what she messed with. So they had to let us out until they decided what they was doing with her to see what. So I was out for about 16 months before I finally went to court. During that 16 months, man, I was back hell on wheels, back selling dope
Doing
again.
the same little thing. While you got a case pending.
Yeah, while I got a case pending, I was still living that lifestyle. Started using the day I got out of jail.
Anything happen?
Nope. So 16 months went along, and I finally went. My lawyer said, "This is the last plea they're coming with you at." It was an open 20. Man, it's a hard, they're going to drop the Class A down to Class B. You plead guilty to an open 20, let the judge decide what to do with you. And at that time, I'm thinking, man, the judge is going to hate me. He's going to give me everything he can give me. I looked at my fiance and said, "Can you explain this plea? Because I don't understand a lot of what I read." So she was reading it over, and she said, "Nathan, this is the best they're coming at you at. Go ahead and sign it." I'm thinking 20 years of my life, I'm thinking he's going to give it all to me. So I go in, the prosecutor's still recommending 30-some years, and my lawyer says, "Look, he's done a year in jail. I recommend you don't give him no more than 10. So I'm thinking, man, my fiance's grandma gets up there and reads off a letter she had wrote that I didn't even know nothing about, had me in tears, telling him how great of a guy I was. And I'm thinking to myself, man, if you only knew really the person I was inside, you'd hate me. And that was my thought in this courtroom. And the judge gave me...
That was a pretty honest statement.
I mean, and that really, a lot of people, and even though I had a lot of friends, it was because of my drugs,
Right, and you knew that.
And I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
But it made me feel good.
Sure.
Because as a child, I didn't feel that, but that judge looked at, took what the prosecutor recommended, looked at what I did a pre-sentence investigation or whatever that thing's called with the probation officer. Mm-hmm. And he took what he recommended and took what we wanted, and he read them all. He said, "Look, I'm going to give you 10 years, suspend 4, 6 do 3. He says, "You're lucky because I got arrested on May the 28th of 2014. June the 1st, the new law went into effect with the levels." Mm-hmm. He says, "You're lucky
because you're under the old law."
Because I fell under the old law. Even though I didn't go to court till the new laws were out, they still had to use the old laws on me.
Right.
So I got to do
the 6 do 3.
6 do 3 instead of 6 do
Like
4.5 or
yeah.
5. So I go to prison. They take me straight from the courthouse that day.
What was it like thinking you're going to get 20 years, though, and then only getting a 6 do 3?
I'm thinking, man, the
Did
judge
you feel
had...
any luck there?
I felt... I don't know if it was luck. Or I felt that the judge had mercy on me.
Okay.
It was like, whew, if he only knew really what I was doing while I was waiting to go to court, he would probably gave me the whole 20 years. And that was my thought,
Yeah.
Thank God. I just kept thinking, thanks God,
So you kind of dodged a bullet, really,
Yeah.
if you want to be honest
Yeah,
about
I
it.
really dodged a bullet. So I go to prison, and during prison, a lot of people say, "Oh, using prison, it's easy to stay off drugs." Well, I'm telling you right now, it's not.
You know what? I'm going to testify with you right now to our viewers because I was in prison too, and you're right. It is not.
I seen more drugs in prison probably than I seen on the streets. Really.
And you live right there with it.
Yeah. When my bunkie beside me, he'd offer me meth every day. And it was hard. It was hard to say no.
So you were saying no. Now
In
you're
prison.
saying no in prison.
Yeah, because I wanted to go home to my kids. I I wanted to change. I really wanted to change. I really thought
So
that I wanted to
now
change.
you're starting to think maybe I want to change. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to live this life no more.
Right.
This is what's going to happen to me.
So you're getting a dose of reality, really.
So I'm in prison for like 14 months.
And this whole time, does this guy keep offering you
Yeah.
death?
People offer me some boxing. It was easy for me to say no to some boxing because I wasn't a downer kind of guy. If I was going to get high, I was going to the
But the
sky.
meth was different.
Yeah. So it was really hard to say no to meth, you know.
Okay.
We'd be out in the yard. People would offer it to me. I was like, no, man, I can't do it, man. I'm going home with my kids. And that was my thought. In
You
prison,
made it through there.
I made it through 15 months in prison and didn't use a drop.
Really? So you were sober for 15 straight months. Did you learn anything in those 15 months, or was it like dry time?
I felt like it was dry time. It was because it still ran through my mind, man. When I get out, it'll be easy. I think I could use once and I'll be
So
okay.
you had those thoughts too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't want to use in prison.
Right.
I
So
didn't.
you
I
knew
wanted.
you could hinder your ability to come
Yeah.
home. Okay.
And I want to go home. I did a couple programs, which got me a year knocked off. So I got to come home a year early. Actually, I got to come home a year and a half early because on a B felony, you get 6 months CTP time,
That's true.
but the judge has to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent in for a modification thinking I'd get modded home about a month before they tell me, hey, you're going home in 20 days. How am I going home in 20 days? Well, the judge proved CTP for you. Like, heck yeah, I'm getting out. Well, with my time cuts, I only had to do 3 months on house arrest on CTP because I only had 3 months left with my time cuts for me to be out, released from prison anyway.
Okay. So when you get out of prison,
I get out of prison, I'm home, I'm thinking, man, I don't want to use drugs.
so you're having that battle.
I'm having that battle because I start having my old friends come over and visit, you know, because I'm on house arrest, I can't go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So some of my old friends were coming over. About 2 months into me being home, I start buying these stolen items. You know, they stole from the store, not from somebody's house. You know, they'd bring me like brand new trills. They brought me this DeWalt kit. It was like $389, brand new. Bought it for $50.
So you're doing this, and you're not using. But
I'm
you're
not
doing
using.
this.
And I'm living that lifestyle.
Right.
Have my old buddies come over.
So it's leading there.
About,
Did you know that?
I really didn't. At that time, my mindset was thinking, I'm not using it, it's okay.
Okay.
You know, I'm not selling anything, it's okay. I'm just helping somebody else so they can go buy something.
But looking back now.
But looking back now, I really relapsed 2 months of being home from prison because I started living that lifestyle. Actually, I did not start using until September, October of that year. Or September, October of 2018. I stayed clean like I said, I stayed clean. Because I look at clean and sober as two different things.
Yeah.
Because sober is, I'm off of everything, any mind-altering things. Clean just means I'm clean from my drugs, but I'm still living that lifestyle.
How important do you think it is? Because I think this would be good for people watching, because this is good.
Yeah.
You're right. Is it to be honest with yourself about when you actually relapsed? You know, like if you could have recognized that was addict behavior or the lifestyle, you think you'd have had you think you could have stopped it before it happened?
I really do. If I would have realized that, you know, I was living that lifestyle and I really relapsed then, I think I could have tried to get help then, because I really didn't want to go back to using it or selling drugs or anything like that. But in my mind, I kept thinking, man, I'd like to get high one time. I think I can do. I've been clean all this time, you know. One time ain't gonna hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's an addict thought.
It is.
You know,
One's too many, 1,000's never enough. You
that's
hear it
right.
all the time.
Yeah. Thinking, man,
And say that, that's an addict
because
thought.
You know, I've been an alcoholic all my life. I can drink one beer at that time. I could drink one beer and walk away from it.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking I can use dope one time and I can walk away from it.
Did you do that dope that one time?
And the end of September 2018, beginning of October, I looked at my fiance and I told her, I said, look, I want to get high.
She made the decision.
She said, yeah. she said, I ain't getting high with you. Which I knew she'd been using all this time, but she didn't do it in front of me. My friends that come over, they didn't do it in front of me, but I knew they was high, you know, and you just, especially being clean, and now that I'm clean and sober, I can pick him out of the woodwork. That guy is high, he's on something.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to notice that, and I'm
Yes.
thinking, man, did I act like that when I was using?
I'm sure you did. I know I did.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so in about September to October 2018, I decided I'm gonna get high. Well, my philosophy, I ain't paying $60 for a half gram. I ain't doing it. I know I can go get an ounce for $300. I'll get my buzz all
Free.
more or less for free. But I didn't want to go back to selling. I really didn't. My philosophy is I wanted to, but I tried to get that high I got back in 2014. You know, like, man, I want that buzz. I couldn't get it. I learned something in prison.
What'd you learn?
Stick a needle in your arm.
Okay.
Good, because I always snorted it or ate it, smoked it, but I couldn't.
So this is when you shoot up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I shot up 3 times in my life during September, end of September, October to November, when I got arrested for a possession charge and another dealing charge because they found a set of dirty scales in the truck I was driving. I'm looking at another 20 years now, you know.
Right now, right?
Yeah, right now. But, you know, I've gained a lot since I've been out of jail. I went to jail in November. I got bonded out in May.
May of 2019.
So I've been released from jail since May, still fighting this case. I'm going to court till March the 2nd, but you know, even though I'm looking at 20 years, I've done so much for myself. I've done IOP on my own. I didn't wait for them to tell me to do anything. I am now the co-leader of IOP.
Mm-hmm.
I get to do that for the next 3 to 6 months, which made me feel good that my recovery coach felt that I could do that, because my goal is to be a peer recovery coach someday. And this will give me the steps to that, because my recovery coach is going to help me do it, to take the class to do it. And I don't care if I ever get paid to do it, you know. I just want to help somebody. I want to be that person if they're out and they need somebody just to talk to, they're scared they're going to use, or they have used, they don't know what to do, reach out to me.
I want to ask you the question that I think probably most of our viewers would be dying to ask you right now. And I got to ask it. Why is this time different? Because I know you got the 20 years over your head still, and you got 14 months of, you would say, real recovery,
yeah.
right?
Because I haven't thought about using this time. There's been times, you know, it would have been really easy for me to say, you know, my daughter's in bed. My mom, I was staying at my mom's when I first got out of jail, and I got custody of my daughter because my fiance, we'd split up while I was in jail. She ended up going to jail, so 4 days after me being released from jail, because my intentions was to go to rehab.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go to a rehab that would really work for me. The 4 days being out of jail, I get custody of my daughter. What do I do now? I can't just, I've been gone away from her for 6 months. I've been gone to prison. I've sat a year in jail on her, done 14, 15 months in prison. I can't walk away from this little girl. She's only 7 years old at the time. I can't go to rehab now. So I did the next best thing. You know, I signed up for an intensive outpatient program.
On your own.
On my own. I didn't wait for anybody. My probation officer didn't tell me to do it. The prosecutor didn't say, hey, I recommend him to do this. I did it on my own. I went through motivation to change. I got a certificate for it. I got a certificate for IOP. But I stuck with my recovery coach, because there was times, you know, times were tough during, you know, when I first come home. You know, I'm thinking, man, what if I run into my old friends? But this time I made it totally different. I said, if I'm going to change, I have to change everything.
Yes.
I had the same phone number for 18 years. I've been on my mom's plan, so when I get out of jail, they got my phone, and so I tell Mom I need a new phone. Can we go out and have my phone turned back on? So we go out to the store and they turn my phone back on. And I said, look, I said, is there any way I can change the number
On your own.
on my own? Because I figured if I was going to change, I had to change everything.
That's so important. Like, you really do, don't you?
I mean, because when I got out of prison, I kept the same phone number.
Right.
Kept
This
all my
time
buddies.
you don't.
I didn't,
It's those little things like that.
I started a new Facebook. When I started it, and people started hitting me up as my old friends, I just ignored them. I try not to be rude to them if I run into them in a gas station.
Sure.
If they say hi, I'll say hi. They say, how are you doing? I say, well, I'm so much clean, and just walk away.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to hear it.
Right.
And but I don't want to be rude to them.
Right.
But I don't have to hang out with them people no more.
No, you don't.
I found a new life. I found new people I can hang out with. But they're old people, some of them.
That's all right.
You know? But we get along so good.
What is Nathan Shaffer's daily program, process, whatever, how do you stay clean on a daily basis?
For one, I thank God. Every morning that, He's kept me clean, that, for that the day before, but at nighttime I tell Him, thank you for keeping me clean for that day to step for tomorrow. When I first started getting clean, I went to a lot of meetings, and I got connected with a lot of people. One of my favorite meetings is ROL. I mean, because I feel, because we're outspoken, I feel like I can help somebody that's scared to go to a meeting, as long as they're watching us. I mean, I know a lady, she watched for 2 or 3 months and drove an hour to come to Greensburg to do a meeting after watching for 2 or 3 months. Because she felt welcome, because it's okay. There's other people just like us. I always thought it was just me, I was the one I didn't have a problem. You had the problem, not me.
Right. Because I certainly don't.
Yeah, I ain't got a problem. I don't know what but if people could see me back in my addiction and where I'm at today, they'd say, wow. Because when I got arrested in 2014, I weighed 142 pounds. When I got arrested in November of 2018, I was about 160. Today, I'm close to 300 pounds. I like to eat.
That's right.
But I'm happy. I feel healthy. I mean, even though I can't bend over and tie my shoes, it's okay.
That's okay. I can tell you that just based on being around recovery myself now for 8 years, I believe in you. I can see it in you. I can see it in your words, the way you're carrying yourself, the way you talk. I couldn't be more proud of you, man.
But this time, I don't know what it was. I went through this program in the county jail before I got, actually the weekend before I got bonded out. And my mom wasn't going to bond me out until July, because she wasn't going to have the money. I went through this REC program, which is Residents Encountering Christ.
Yes.
And something hit me in there. I mean, I felt the power of God. And at that time I said, I need to really change. My kids need their dad. They don't need me to keep going to jail. The cops in town know me, so there's no chance of me. I mean, I've done it for 30 years before I got caught. Now I can't even go a year without getting caught. I mean, but even the cops see the change in me, and hey, I'm so proud of you, Or they give me a hug. Even my arresting officer, he helped at my daughter's birthday. I just got out of jail. I didn't have much money. He went and spent $50 on my daughter, my arresting officer.
And that had to feel good.
Brought it to me, called me and said, hey, where you live at, what's your address? I'm like, what do you want my address for? What I do now? That was my thought. I ain't done nothing, man. Don't, please, don't take me back to jail. And he come with this bag, and he said, "There's a card in there. I want you to sign it so your daughter thinks it come from you." Well, he left the receipt in there, so I knew what he spent. But on top of that $50, he hands me $20 and tells me to go get a birthday cake for my daughter. I was in tears. How do you thank somebody like that?
You know how? By staying sober today. I don't know how else you can do it.
So he sees me today. He congratulates me. His wife works at the county jail. She's puts on the programs is what she does. She used to be the jail commander, but she stepped down. But she's the one that brings in is over the RAC. They got Celebrate Recovery in there now. They got church in there now, which they never had before. But when I went through that program, I said I had a connection with God. And so I go back to my book, thinking, man, my mom's going to bail me out in July. What am I going to do? Thinking, okay, I need to stay sober. I need to stay clean. I'm going to go to rehab. I'm going to do this right. Like I said, I got my daughter, but 5 days after that program, they come and holler my name and said, "Hey, you're getting bonded out." By the grace of God, somebody gave my mom money that she needed on top of what she already had to bond me out. And I just kept my mind set, I started going to church. It was just, I felt closer to God, and I believe that God has kept me sober a lot.
Sure.
Besides, I lean on my recovery people. When I'm feeling down, like I said, my fiance, we've been together almost 7 years. We split up while I was in jail, but we talked on Mother's Day, I got out on Friday and it was that Sunday. And we talked about, hey, she was tired, she was done. She said, "I want to be like you." I said, "You can."
Yeah.
I said, "But I'm telling you now, if we work things out, the drugs are done. If I catch you doing it, I have to walk away." She was running with a guy. He found out I was out of jail. Wouldn't let her out of his sight. He was very controlling, very abusive. 2 days after we talked on Mother's Day, she gets arrested. She goes to court on a CPS because her kids get taken, and I'm the father of the youngest one. So I go to court, and I look at her and said, "Look," I said, "call me." I said, "You got money on your books?" She said, "I should have. I don't know. I don't know your number." I said, "I can't write it down and give it to you." I said, I'll ask the CPS lawyer, if I give them my number, if they can give it to you." About 2 weeks after she's in jail, she finally calls me. And I told her then, I said, we can be lovers or we can be friends. I'll walk this walk with you if you really want it. She said, "Nathan, I'm tired. I'm done." I said, "I'll be your best friend. But I promise you, I will not let you put my daughter through this again, because I'm not going to."
Mm-hmm.
So if I catch you when you get out, I catch you doing anything, friends or lovers, I'm walking away from you. I can't do it no more.
Is she clean today?
She is 10 months clean today.
That's good.
She spent 4 months in the jail, or 3 months in the jail. She went to rehab over here in Franklin. And when she come home, she can't stay with us all the time. First, she couldn't stay with us at all. She'd just come and visit through the daytime, and she had to leave. Now she gets to spend the weekends with us. She has to leave on Monday. She can come back and stay Tuesday and Wednesday, leave on Thursday, and come back on Friday and spend the weekend with us. But, during this time, she has realized, she's healthy. She feels good.
She's liking it. She's liking this lifestyle with you.
Because during our whole relationship, it was one or the other, or both of us was in drug addiction.
But now you're both clean.
Well,
You got 14 months. She's got 10.
And it's all new to us,
So it's got to be exciting.
It is exciting, but sometimes it's stressful,
Yeah.
Because we didn't know each other besides being high.
Now you get to know the real each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I love her to death. I wouldn't change anything in the world today.
That's good.
During the time that I've been out for 14 months. I've got guardianship of her 3 oldest kids, custody of our youngest one. Got me a house. And when I got this house, I had nothing. And I mean, when I say nothing, I had nothing. I took a cover and a pillow from my mom's house for the first 3 days we stayed there. Me and my daughters and the kids slept on the floor.
Now you gotta.
Within about 3 weeks of me getting the house, I had a full blown house, plumb full, more than what I needed, really. When it was time for her to get out of rehab, she had a home to come home to, even though she couldn't stay with us. But I promised her that I would take care of her kids, even the 3 it's not mine, no matter what. I would take care of them kids, and that was my goal.
And you've done that.
And I have done that. I've got the boys back in school. They wasn't going to school. The oldest one, she was on the verge of being kicked out of school when I got guardianship of her because she'd missed too many days. They all making good grades. My daughter, she's a straight A student. The first 9 weeks and the second 9 weeks, she had straight A's. But I'm proud of all of them, and they see the change in us. The boys, they was running around till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. They don't do that no more.
Good.
They ask if they can go places, but they respect me. And everybody says, how you do it? How do you stay clean? For one, that's what I want. I don't want to use no more. I don't want that lifestyle no more. Your biggest thing, people, is to change your people, places, and things. It's all. And
I wanted to go there because so your story is, seriously, it's awesome. This has been fun. And there was 2 questions I really wanted to ask you before we close. And one was the people, places, and things. How important was changing those for your recovery?
It's very important because I know still today, even though I don't care if I've been clean probably 10, 15 years, I can't hang out with them people.
You just can't.
I can't. Because eventually...
I know it's cliche, but
I could probably do it for a little bit, but eventually it's going to cause me to use again. I got an addiction in my mind. I'm an addict. I can be addicted to anything. I'm addicted to food right now, but I'm happy.
Right.
I'm not living, looking over my shoulder. Is the cops watching me? I don't have to worry about that. Even though I'm looking at 20 years, I still don't have to worry about them cops anymore.
It's true.
But the biggest thing was changing them people, places, and things. I don't go to my old buddy's house. They don't come to my house.
You just cut ties.
I just cut ties. I changed my phone number.
Yeah.
After 18 years, I have
That's
the same.
changing your people because they ain't got your phone number.
I started a new Facebook. I've done it all. I reach out to my recovery people. I don't reach out to them old friends anymore.
Reach out to recovery people, your new people.
Yeah, them are my new friends.
Right.
They're true friends. They're going to be there for me. Even if I slip today, they're still going to be there for me. I've realized in recovery, and I realized when I went through that program in the jail, it's okay.
I like that you keep saying that. It's okay. And the last question I want to ask you, and you got your viewers here. What impact do you hope that you coming here tonight has on others?
I just hope people realize, that I've come from a long life of use and living a drug life. That I just want them to know it's okay. They can change. It's a mindset thing. You really want to have it. There's a lot of people I run into. They wish they could be sober. But they just don't know how. And I just want people to know just reach out to somebody. Because, reach out to me, reach out to John here. Because I'm telling you guys, addiction is hard. And but we're here to help anybody. And I just want people to know that.
All right.
If I can change, anybody can change, John.
Absolutely. You know what? I believe that wholeheartedly.
I had one of my guys in the IOP class. when he first started getting sober about 3 months ago, he said he used to watch ROL. He's come to a few meetings, but he posted on there, Nathan, if you can do it, I can do it. But he's seen how much dope I sold. He's seen how much
the old you.
he knows the old me, you know, and he sees me now. He's, man, I want to be like you. I said, you don't want to be like me.
Right.
I said, you have to live that whole life.
Uh-huh.
I said, but you want to be like me today, and I understand that. Because I'm happy today, I'm healthy, and I don't want to go back to that lifestyle. And I can say today, 14 months being clean and sober, I haven't thought about using drugs, haven't thought about selling drugs, and I sure the heck ain't started thinking about buying any stolen items. I've had people ask me, and I turned them away. I said, man, I ain't living that lifestyle more. Go on.
That's right.
But that made me feel good that I could do that, because I've recognized that lifestyle is part of relapse, and people need to realize, even if you think you're clean, but you're still living that lifestyle and you're still hanging out with the same old crowd, I'm telling you, you're relapsed already.
Absolutely.
So, but that's all I got.
I really appreciate you coming here tonight. It was a great time. And guys, you just heard it. Great story of inspiration and hope. I mean, if you think about it, this man was in foster home at the early age of 2 to 6 years old.
And then I went back when I was
when you were how old?
14, 15.
14 or 15.
Even
years
after
old.
I had a kid, you know,
Yeah.
I ran away from home, but
Right.
I ran away from there, even though I knew they was good parents.
Right.
Because I got to go back to the same foster home, which was good. But I ran away because I'd already been on the streets. I knew what the street life was like. And that's
Right.
we lived 6 miles out in the country, and I wasn't allowed to go nowhere. I ran away from home.
Right.
But you know, when I ran away from home, I ended up going to Quinco over in Columbus for 3 weeks. And they asked me then, you know, my foster mom even come and see me. And she said I could come back home. Even after I ran away from them and I hurt them, she let me come back, you know. And during my drug life, you know, there wasn't always bad in me. You know, there's good things.
Right.
And people need to realize that, you know.
Sure.
Just because in our drug addict mind, we think all the negative we've done. We don't think of anything we've done good. You know, we've always, you know, especially starting in recovery, people think, I ain't doing nothing good. But I'm telling you guys, there's always good in somebody. No matter if they're using or not, they've done something good in their life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had kids, you know, that was something good.
Right.
I've done a lot of good. But also during that good, I've done a lot of bad.
Right.
But,
You got to own up to that.
yeah, you know, and I realize now, you know, it wasn't nobody else's fault but my own.
That's right. And you
Yeah.
heard it. Nobody else's fault but your own. And if you want to be a part of Me to We Productions, you can get a hold of me. If you want to follow Recover Out Loud, jump on the website at recoveroutloudinc.com. You can also follow us on our Facebook page. We also have a business page. And always remember that shame can only thrive in secrecy. And the moment you speak aloud upon it, it will lose its power.